can discuss it and see why there is a need for career to be planned. Okay, so after school, my first postgraduate job was in 2004. And I started with a company called Samsung Service Center. That was 2004. That was when I started work post as a graduate. Then after then, I moved on to another job in 2006. But between 2004 and 2014, I think I had like 13 jobs. And looking back now, I asked myself, what happened those periods? Why was I moving from one place to another? I'm still trying to figure it out. Right? I mean, here somebody says, well, I had like 13 jobs. Let me list it. I started with Samsung Service Center. From there, I moved on to Rosabel Advertising. From there, I moved on to Strategic Events. After then, I moved on to where again? CRM. From CRM to O1 Events. From O1 Event to Sovereign Trust Insurance, that's number 6 or number 7. From Sovereign Trust to Pragmatic Technologies. From Pragmatic Technologies to Speech Concept. From there to IGEA HMO. That's how many? 9 or 10. Okay, so it's not up to 13, it's about 10. Then after then, I mean, I started doing stuff on my own, and I run Cedar Tribe Limited now. Apart from some other things I do, like MSM Africa. But this is, I'm asking myself now, why did I make all those moves? Why did I make all those moves? And sometimes it could be a plus and a minus. Some people would say, wow, you are a hot cake, we want to have you on board. And I've had some employers tell me, no, we're not sure we want to keep you because we don't know whether you will stay with us. There was even a particular place I worked for 18 days. I mean, can you beat that? 18 days, and I left. That was how crazy it was. And along the line, I've been able to associate that with my temperament and my kind of person. But before I go on, I just want us to unmute our mics briefly and talk about this. Do you think it's LD for job like 10 times, like I did within a space of 10, how many? 2004, 2014. That's 10 years. I changed up like 10 times. Do you think it's LD? Let's discuss that briefly for the next 1 or 2 minutes. Does anyone think that is good? If you think it's good, let me know. If you think it's bad, let me know. And tell me why you think it's good and why you think it's bad. All right? You said no. Can you unmute your mic briefly? Okay.
Okay.
So, why did you say it's no?
I would say it is very, very bad because
okay,
being inconsistent will only give you a poor career growth because you are not focused, not aligned to a particular career path. So you tend moving and waving all around. And at the end of the day, you discover that you have not really done so much in a particular career. You are like a jack of all trades, master of none. So it will be a little or not even profiting at all, sir.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so very much for that. I will welcome probably 1 or 2 more persons, then we'll move on. Yeah, I need to also point out that everything, I mean, all the jobs that I changed were still in the same field of marketing communications. So either I was on the client side, I was with an advertising agency, or I was moving to I was on the agency side, or I was moving to the client side as the head of corporate comms or marketing manager or advertising person. Okay, so somebody else wants to say something. It signifies instability. I want to agree with you. Somebody else wants to say something before I move on. It depends on the circumstances involved in each job. It depends on the person. It signifies instability. All right. Somebody else wants to say something before I dive right into the slides.
Yeah.
Anyone person? Okay.
I think it depends on your temperament. Some people don't like to stay too long in a place. They get easily bored. So they look forward to new challenges. So they tend to move on quickly after they have gotten whatever they want from a job. So I can't say it's good or bad. It depends on who you are and what you what your aims are.
All right. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. All right. So, I just wanted to lay that foundation to you so that when I'm talking, it's not like I'm some guy who had it all totally together. I learned some things along the line. There were things I learned that I would not, things that I learned that if I have an opportunity again, I will not get involved in. And there are some other things that are also good with the way I was moving. Okay, so let me tell you, the truth is, when you stay too long in a place, it's a problem. And when you stay too briefly in a place, it's also a problem. Like I said, some employers were not comfortable. There was a particular place I had thought I had gotten the job until I met the GM, and the guy says, no, 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 no. We will not allow you because we're not sure you're going to stay on this job. All right? But some other people, when they see it, they say, wow, this guy is a high flyer. Everybody wants him. And so they already think, let's have him on board. But we'll already have it in our mind that the guy will probably stay 1 year, 1.5 years, but at least within that period, we would maximize what he has. But personally, let me tell you what I think about those moves. They were not so good. They were not so very good. Like always wanted to do marketing communications, even though I studied accountancy, and that was a big problem. Marketing communications, advertising, PR, and nobody was going to give me a chance because accountancy and marketing comms, they are two different worlds. But I wanted to do it. So when I got my first job, it was meant to be an accounting assistant job at Samsung Service Center. But somehow by providence, within the first 1 week, some guys came from Korea to come and train us on how to use a particular customer service software. And because I was a new intake, I joined that training. And after the training, I became very good with the software. And they said, no, you are probably the champion of this software. So we'll move you from accounting to customer service because of the software. So I was on that customer service desk, but I still wanted to do my marketing comms, which is advertising. And so I kept telling people, I kept sending in applications, but I wasn't lucky. Until someday, somebody called from Rosabel Advertising. And Rosabel Advertising at that point was one of the top 3 marketing communications firms in Nigeria. And he said he was calling because he needed to fix some, appliances. I told you I was working at the customer service center of Samsung. And so what we do was receive calls from customers about their appliances that needed repairs. This guy had a giant television, a Samsung plasma TV that he just bought. I needed to repair. So he put in the call and I received the call and I ensured that I dispatched the engineers to go fix his TV. And I, of course, logged in the call. I got his details. After fixing it, then I started checking him and I was like, hello, sir. I hope the TV is working very well. I hope everything is okay. And the guy was like, why are you so good? Why are you being so nice? I said, that's the way we're trained. But I knew what I wanted, After some time, I said, I really would love to work in that Rosabel Advertising. I found out that's where you work. And that's one of the places I had always wanted to work. And he says, how do you mean? He said, what did I say? I said, I studied accountancy. And he happened to be the head of finance. He said, sure, no problem. I'm the head of finance. When there is an opening in my department, I would allow you come in. I said, no, I'm not looking for a finance job. I'm looking for a core advertising job. And he says, you studied accountancy. How come? I said, that's what I really wanted to do. I even in school, I was part of an editorial team for newsletters and some other things that I know I would thrive in advertising and PR. Long and short of it, after several months, I got a chance and I told him, just allow me come write the test. You can leave every other thing afterwards. And got so good. I wrote the test, passed the test, and I got a job. And that was it. But you know what happened? After like a year there, I got an offer. At that point, I was earning 41,000 naira per month. Then somebody somewhere was leaving and they needed somebody to replace them. And I was going to be earning 100K in a new marketing communications firm. Their call was PR and events. And because of that money, I moved on. Looking back in retrospect, I shouldn't have made that move, but I moved on because of money. And I know somebody will say money is very important. I agree, but money shouldn't always be the number one reason why I want to change jobs. So I moved on to that job because I was promised 100K. But lo and behold, I was only able to earn the money for 3 months. The remaining 3 months was without pay because the company was not doing well. It was a new company, but I was exposed to a lot of things. That company took me to Aso Rock. The first and only time in my life that I've been to Aso Rock was because of that job, because we were planning to get some business in Abuja. And at some point, we had to take some of our clients to go meet the wife of the president and the wife of Umaru Yar'Adua. That was how big everything was looking. We're going to Abuja to have meetings. We're going to banks to meet with their MDs. But after 3 months, we found out that things were not working. And then the organization could not pay my salary for 3 months afterwards. I had to leave, stayed at home, was depressed. I couldn't get a job for months, got another one with a pay cut. Then because I wasn't satisfied with the kind of pay, I was always looking for another job. I stayed there for 3 months, got another one, stayed there for 18 days, got another. And so that cycle continued. I found out along the line that number one, I never stayed on a job long enough to get promotion. I was always moving from one job to another before I get promoted to another one, except for one where I got a promotion. That was in sovereign insurance. And so there was so much instability. Even though people saw me as a high flyer, I was moving from one place to the other. But inside of me, I knew something was wrong because I saw people that stayed on a particular job. We probably got there at the same time. And after some years, they were rising so fast. I was also moving, I was rising, but it's not like somebody that was being rewarded for staying on a job and it was rising through the ranks. You know the joy that comes with that. So that was one side effect of moving from one job to another. And then people will see you as unreliable and unstable. But the major factor I would say is that I never planned my career. And that's what we're talking about, career plan today. So that you understand why I'm telling all this long story. I would rather tell stories so that we can relate with them than just dive into the slides. I want something that's relatable. If probably I had planned my career to say, this is the kind of job I want, this is the place I want to be in my career after 10 years. And so if I want to get to this particular place, this is how I need to move, this is what I need to do, this is where I need to be at the particular time. That will have helped. So the question is, how many of us really have a picture of where we want to be in the next 10 years? If you have a plan, can you just type it in the box? If you really, really know that you have a career plan, you know where you want to be in 10 years, in 20 years. Because a lot of us just get into jobs and we're just hoping for the next job to come, hoping for the next one. You don't have a plan of, and so if you don't have a plan of where you want to be, any job that comes your way looks like the real thing. But when you have a plan, your career decision, your job decision will be guided by those plans. And so you will know when to move and when to stay on a particular job. All right? So let's dive in, personal development and career plan. Again, it's been read to you. Okay, you can still see my slides, right? Can you still see my slides?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir, we can.
What did you say?
Yes,
all right,
sir.
So let's dive into this. Let's dive into it. Let's go. Welcome and introduction. I've introduced myself. If I ask all of you to introduce yourself, then we will not leave here today. But I'm seeing some names already. Abiba Aruna, Obiageli Okunze. All right. So hopefully I'll get to meet you guys again and again and again. So let's go on. What I intend to achieve at the end of this session, you can see this picture. You can see the butterfly and you can see the caterpillar. So at the end of this session, we intend that you guys are like caterpillars, but you turn to butterfly at the end of the. You understand? So that's the essence of this session. So that with the information that you get here now, you'll become better people and you can make good choices when it comes to your career and your personal development. It is quite important that we pay attention to how we develop as individuals and how our choices when it comes to career. All right? Okay, so what are the objectives? Number one, you'll have better understanding of self and increase self-confidence. The truth is, when you don't understand yourself, it's a lot difficult for you to become effective as a person and to develop your person. You need to, the first thing anybody should do is to understand what makes them tick, why they are the person that they are. But sometimes we don't pay attention to understanding ourselves. You understand your children, you understand your wife, you understand your friends, you understand your work environment. But do you know yourself? If I ask you to do a summary of your person, do you know it? Do you know your temperament, for instance? Do you know what makes you tick? Do you know what time of the day you are most effective? All right? Am I zooming on the slide? Can you see slides now?
Yes,
Can you
Yes, sir,
see
we can
the
see this.
slides? Somebody is saying I'm zooming out the slides.
Yes, sir, we can, sir.
Is it okay now? All right, so they said the slide is okay. All right, so you might need to check. You might need to check if you can't see the slide well. Every other person seems to see it well. Okay, so let's move on. You'll have a better understanding of your person after this session. You'll be able to rise above limiting beliefs. There are some things that we believe about ourselves that are holding us back, and they are not allowing us to become the best of who we can be. So we'll learn how to overcome them. Of course, we need to identify them first and overcome them. You need to increase your relational skill. Relationship is very, very key. For anyone that wants to move higher, if you want to move high in your career, in your personal life, in every aspect of life, you need to know that people are important. People are gifts. If you have a problem with people, they can hinder a lot of things from happening to you. So we need to also learn how to relate with people, not because we are men pleasers, but because we know that people are very important in our journey, whether in career or whatever aspects of life. Also, you will learn to make positive changes to your behavior that will impact your life and work. You will learn to identify your behaviors that are limiting you and the ones that you need to pay attention to so that you can become better in life and at work. You also understand how to set smart goals. What is life? What is planned without goals? If you don't set a goal, you are probably deceiving yourself. You learn how to set goals and stay with them and achieve them. Okay? And then lastly, you will learn to develop a career plan. You will practically learn how to do it. I will give you the template. And then along the course of this course you're doing with KEC, you learn to develop your own career plan that you can stick to. And of course, your career counselor, you walk through to them and ensure that you make the best out of them. All right, so icebreaker. I wish we were in a physical class where we see face to face. We'll have done a very good icebreaker. But number one, know yourself. It is very, very important. Basic self-awareness is necessary for every exploit in life. Like I mentioned, I cannot overflog it. Maybe if I studied myself before I jumped into career, I would have known that I'm a sanguine. I get tired of jobs and places easily. And I have a tendency to be unstable. If I had known that about myself, I wouldn't have yielded to the temptation to keep moving from one place to another. I would have known it's not because of the workplace, but because of my temperament. And I would have told myself, no, I'm not going to yield to this. I will stay put and ensure that I get something out of a particular place before I move on to another, right? Or probably because I didn't study myself quite well, I didn't even know about my temperament or something. I did not pay attention to those things. So it's very important that we know who we are and our tendencies so that we can become better. All right, so this is a template for us. What do I really want from life? How many of us can answer those questions? In my life, is my life all about coming to the office? I mean, at some point in life, I was asking that question. I got tired of work. I got tired of so many things. I was like, is this all about life? I mean, do I have to really do this? How can I be a better person? What do I do? Why do I do the things that I do in the first place? Am I doing this because of money? Or I'm doing this because it's something that I love to do or I'm passionate about? I need to ask those questions. All of us need to do. Why am I alive? These are fundamental questions. If you can ask all of these questions, you will discover who you are and the things you need to pay attention to in life. So we need to look at these questions critically. What will I be apart from the organization? Like I tell some people, you need to critically ask yourself a lot of questions. If you lose this job today, this position you are, what will you be known for? Some people's identity are tied to the jobs they have. Outside of the job, they don't have any other thing. They are not known for anything. And that's a very terrible place to be. What happens if you lose your job today? And so for such people, they just see everything as job, 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 job. Even their relationship with their colleagues is all about the job, 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 because job is so, so important to me. Our job should be important to us. But we should have another life outside of job. We should develop ourselves such that the job is not the sum total of who we are. All right? Personal development precedes workplace development. If you are developed as a person, even if you lose your job by one reason or the other, it will be a lot easier for you to get another job. All right? So let's move on. How much of yourself do you know truly? How many of us can answer this question? How much of yourself do you know truly? How much of yourself do you know truly? If I ask you to define yourself in a sentence, how will you describe yourself? I want answers in the chat box now. If I say define yourself, who are you in a sentence? What will you say about yourself in a sentence? Can we have answers now? If I ask you to talk about yourself in a sentence, what will you say about yourself? What will you say about yourself in a sentence? Anyone? Are you guys still in the class, or I'm just talking to myself?
No, sir.
Are we still here? Okay, I'm the light of the world. Awesome, awesome. I'm the light of the world, okay? I'm too emphatic, or is it emphatic or empathetic? I'm goal-driven, I'm a go-getter. I'm not saying give me qualities about yourself, I'm saying the summary of your person. Being goal-driven, very tough to answer. I agree with you. Some of us are still trying to find the answers, because sometimes you think you have the answer, you say something about yourself now, then after some time you look at yourself and say, am I still this very person? You know, there's something we call in branding, we call it brand essence. That is the reason why you're alive. That is the reason for a brand existing. It's like when you have a loaf of bread and you slice it, right? You know what people are seeing? They are seeing the fresh loaf of bread that is yummy and inviting. But when you slice it, you cut it through in the middle. What you have in the middle is the essence of that bread. That is what makes it bread, not the label, not what you find outside. So your essence as a person is what is on your inside. But how much of it can you articulate? That's a big, big question that all of us need to answer. So if you find out that you are still struggling with this, you need to keep diving into your person. You need to keep knowing. I wish there is a course in school that's dedicated to knowing yourself, and you do it for a whole semester or a whole session. And what the lecturer comes to do is try to ask you questions, give you tools and templates that will make you answer very tough questions, that at the end of that year, you can tell yourself, this is really who I am. And these are my tendencies, these are the things that I need to pay attention to in my life. All right? I'm enthusiastic and curious. Samuel, I would say I'm giving to being flexible. Okay? I'm self-oriented. This is a big question. I agree, like I said. All right, so it's very important so that we don't spend our time getting to know the other person while we don't know ourselves. That's the reason for a lot of conflict sometimes. You don't know who you are. You don't know the thing that you can take. You don't know your breaking point. And so people you allow all sorts of people into your life because you don't know what you can take and what you can't take. And so you allow people that will keep hurting you into your life, and they keep hurting you, and making you feel terrible. They water down your self-esteem, but you don't know how to say no to them. But when you know your threshold as a person, because you have studied yourself, you know the kind of people that you surround yourself with. All right? So who am I? That's a big question that we will need to answer. Who am I? All right, known to self. That's your open self. That's the part of you that is known to you. And we are looking at the different kind of self that we can have access to. Your open self is known to you. That's the information about you that both you and others know. That's what people say about you. I know people tell me that, I'm humorous. They also tell me that I talk too much, even though it seems with old age, let me not say old age, I'm still a very young person. Okay, but it seems with time, I'm learning not to talk too much. But a lot of people tell me that I don't take a lot of things serious, that I'm too jovial, I know I could be friendly, but sometimes people want me to be more serious with some things. All right, but that part of me that is known to me, that's the open self. All right, but there is a blind self. That's information about you that you don't know, but others do know. And the problem with this particular blind self is that when people tell you, you don't want to agree. And so you become defensive because you don't see that thing about yourself. But you know what? When 2, 3, 4, 5 persons tell you something about yourself, you better agree that that is the truth. Because you keep saying, I know myself. You guys don't understand me. The you that we are seeing is this is what we can see about you. And 5, 6 people are saying it, then you need to know that there's something about you that you need to pay attention to. All right? Instead of being defensive, you tell yourself, people are saying this about me. That means this is the me that people are saying. All right, so and I need to get better with this particular aspect of my life. It is very, very important. So there's also the hidden self. This talks about information about you that you know, but others don't know. All right? Like I was telling somebody that, I don't think you ever get angry at all. And every other person says, this person does not get angry. But that's what we know. That's what but he knows within himself that he gets angry. And you say, well, you don't know every aspect of me. All right? So there's a hidden self. And we all have that hidden self that when people are praising you, when they are saying good things about you, and you say, even if these people see what I go through. You know, especially because of social media now, a lot of us have been able to pass across some information to people, either willingly or unwillingly, that are not totally true. You agree with me? People see you on Facebook and say, wow, this guy is just something else. This guy is the best of his kind. And they say all sorts of things about you, but they don't know that everything is just for the gram. They don't know you are doing this for Twitter, you are doing it for Facebook, you are doing it for Instagram. And so they buy that lie about you, but you know there is a lot more to you than what they are saying. So your hidden self is what people don't know, but you yourself know. But sometimes it is actually very possible that you know that hidden self, and because people don't know it, you start telling lies to yourself about your hidden self, and you don't agree that that is who you are. It's very important that sometimes you lie to yourself. It's actually very important. It's actually very, very possible that sometimes we lie to ourselves. And so we need to pay attention to it. All right, so there's also the unknown self. Very, very interesting. There is an unknown self. And it's actually very funny that there is a part of you that you don't know, information about you that neither you nor others know. But do you know when those parts of yourself come out? Like somebody would say that money does not have a character. Money takes on the character of the owner. Sometimes when you don't have money, you don't know a lot of things about you. But when money comes, that's when you find out that there's an anger part of you. There's a proud part of you. All right? But when the money is not there, you don't know. That's your what? That's your unknown self. That is only brought out by some circumstances. Sometimes things happen and you flare up and you start fighting in the public. And then you go back and say, is this really me? I never knew this could have happened to me. So your unknown self only comes to bear once in a while. Sometimes you might live the very first 10, 20, 30 years of your life without, and a particular part of your life is not even evident to people. It's actually very possible. That's your unknown self, all right? But it's very important that we unravel ourselves and we get to know all of this so that you are a better leader of yourself. We know, in leadership, we'll say the first level of leadership is personal leadership. If you're not leading yourself well, it will be a lot difficult for you to lead other people. So personal leadership is the very first step in leadership. Okay? All right, let's move. Your mind begins as a blank slate until it's exposed to you. Very, very important. It is exposed to you. Everybody started on a clean slate. When you have a child that is newly born, they don't know anything. Their mind is there's something we call tabula rasa. It's like a clean slate where nothing has been written. You know a slate, right? I don't know if you guys know what a slate is, but I started school with a slate. We take our slate to school, and and we write on slate. I'm sure you guys are probably in the generation where when you went to school, what you had is all this board, right? You had notebooks. I started school with a slate, and we write on slate, and when you make mistake, you wipe off the slate. So An average, I mean, an individual, when you were born, you are like a clean slate. Nothing has been written on it. But within the first few years of life, a lot of things are written on that slate. From your experience with people, from your environment, from things you picked up from your parents, your friends, and family. And that forms the core of your person. All right? So, what one word do you want people to use to describe it? What do you think they currently use? All right, so can we just quickly do this? What one word do you want people to use to describe you? And what do you think they currently use? So let's have everybody type it in now. What would you want people to say about you in one word? And then number two, what do you think they use to describe you already? Because there's actually a very, very high probability that what you want people to describe you with is not what you are right now. Altruistic, yeah, wonderful. Currently reserved. Oh, wow. Okay, success driven, currently reserved. Success driven, self-motivated. That's what we guys, okay, that's what you guys want to be described with, right? Okay. People describe you as outgoing, but you know you can be very reserved. What you want is bold, but probably you're not there yet. Tenacious, committed. All right. So what I'm trying to drive at is that there's every likelihood that you're not what you want yet. But I also tell you that it's actually very, very possible for you to become that thing you want to become without you faking it. All right. So since you have identified what you want people to describe you as now, the next thing you need to do is to start working towards currently funny. All right. Oshinai Oluwatosin. People describe you as funny currently. Okay. All right. I'm described as reserved, but I want to describe as goal-driven. It's possible. And so there's a school of thought that tells us that if you want people to describe in a particular way, all you need to do is packaging. Yeah, you know, I do a lot around branding and communications. And so we advocate for branding, packaging, and what have you. But there's a limit to what packaging can get you into. Because sometimes we overdo this packaging thing and then everything you do is fake. All right, fake. On Thursday, was it Thursday last week? I was interviewing some guys. I needed some people to handle some roles for one of my organization, one of my expressions. And then there's this organization that does placement for graduates. And so I contacted them because there's some sort of arrangement that we're going to have with them. And so they sent in 5 CVs for me. And out of the 5 CVs, I said, okay, let me speak to these 3. And after speaking to those people, it was a disaster because those guys were trying to be who they were not. I saw the CVs, I liked those CVs, wonderful CVs. But when you interact with the people behind the CV or more, you'll ask yourself, why do people do this? Because this thing you are faking, you can actually become it if you work towards it. So the easier part for you to tread is for you to work towards becoming it rather than faking it and telling lies. Okay, so one of them said he worked with Guinness between 2015 to 2019 or so. And then he went to school from 2011 to maybe 2015. I can't remember exactly now. So I said, good. So why did you leave Guinness? He said, no, he left Guinness so that I can go to school. I said, Oga, but your CV says that you went to school before you started working. He said, yes. He wanted to go for masters. What he meant was that he wanted to go to school for masters, not undergrads. I said, okay, no problem. So he said, I said, okay, so why didn't you go for the master? Your master's is not showing on your CV. He said he lost his father at that point. But something in me told me that this guy was lying. So when I was trying to prove further, the guy got off the call and he said he had network issues, that he was going to join us back. After some 15 minutes, he joined us back. Then I also saw another point in his CV. He said part of the thing he does is that he's a finance coach. I mean, this guy, everything about him is just mumbled. He's a salesperson somewhere. He's a finance person somewhere. He says he's also a footballer. So he said you're a finance, and you coached you coached a particular startup to win to win a grant from Facebook. You know, there is Facebook Accelerator. They do a particular program every year where they give grants to organization and they also train them. So he said he coached a particular organization to win a grant from Facebook and they joined the Facebook Accelerator. I said, awesome, this is the kind of person I want. And I said, okay, so this organization that you coach, what's their name? Because I run an organization called MSME, and what we do basically is report news around entrepreneurs and what have you. And so I have a list of the 20 people that won it. So tell me the name so that I can check it. And up to today, the guy has not come back to that call because he ran away. And he told the people doing the placement that he's not interested in the job again because he knew I was asking questions that will unveil that I was lying, that he's been fake. And I'm asking myself, you really want to become a big person, or this is what you are dreaming of becoming, instead of faking it, why not work towards it and become it in 2 or 3 years? All right. So when I went to check this guy on LinkedIn, he said he had worked with Guinness. And truthfully, he had actually worked with Guinness. But did you know when he worked with them? Sometime before, after secondary school, he worked with them, I think 2010. And he wrote there that what he was doing was like getting bottles ready. So apparently he was working in the factory, was part of the people that are working on on getting the bottles ready and blah, 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 blah. So he was never a salesperson with Guinness, like he claimed. And he said he increased the performance he said he increased performance for Guinness by about 50%. He recommended a particular software to them. He did this, he did that. And I was like, as a salesperson, you recommended software, you increase their sale by 50%. Only you, and you are not in national paper, in the newspapers. All right. Okay, so let's move. Okay, someone is asking, what are the 3 E's? Okay, the 3 E's. Okay, sorry. Your 3 is number 1 is your esteem. You know, we're talking about self awareness now. Your esteem, your effectiveness, and I think the third is empathy, if I'm not mistaken. But we're still going to dive into it now. We're going to touch on all of them. But talking about what makes up your person, your self-esteem is very important. Your personal effectiveness, and I think the third one is empathy. All right, so but let's move on. Okay. We can't do this assessment now. Let's dive into our personality profile. You know, I said I'm a sanguine, but the truth is that nobody is just one particular personality. You are a mix of at least. In fact, we all have all the 4 temperaments in place, but there is one that is dominant and there's another one that is close to it. So I'm a sand flag. So sometimes when the flag part of me comes to play, people are asking, is this the same person? Because the flag part of me makes me to be very reserved and I don't talk. But when I'm in my element, I'm a sanguine, I talk, I joke, I crack jokes, I'm outgoing, I want to talk to everybody, and everybody's like, why are you like this? But when the sanguine comes to play, people say, is this the same person? All right, so let's look at the 4th temperament. There's the choleric. And of course, the choleric are what? They are drivers. They are particular about getting things done. They value results above people. That's what people say. They see people as things. I'm just trying to, I don't want someone to get angry though. All right, so what are the strengths of the cholerics? They have organizational skill, they are good planners, and they are very, very reliable. You can give a choleric an assignment and go to bed. They will deliver on that assignment. You can be very sure. All right? Then that's their strength. What are their needs? They need structure. They need planning. They need gradual introduction to change. And of course, they need to be under some sort of control because they can be very aggressive and bullish. If they are not curtailed, they can become despotic and they can also become dictators, all right? Because they are all concerned. They are mainly concerned about result. They can get angry quickly, all right? But they get things done. What are their values? Number 1, structure. They like structure. They like things being done in a proper way. Another thing, they love loyalty. They like people to be loyal to them. They also want to be the center of attraction. How many of us know Mourinho? How many of us, if you know Mourinho, just type in the box now. You know Mourinho as a coach. How many of us know him? All right, Mourinho is a good example of a choleric. You find out that every football club he goes to is always the center of attraction. He becomes even more popular than the footballers, you know. So I think it's a mix of choleric and sanguine because he also likes the leader. So they like loyalty. They want people to be loyal to them. They want to be the center of attraction, and they also love honesty. Okay, what are their needs? Like I said, structure, blah blah blah. What gives them joy? Structure, planning, tasks accomplished. When tasks are accomplished, they are very, very happy. And they are saying, oh, yeah, let's move on to the next one. Those are the cholerics. They are also they're extroverts. The cholerics and the sanguine, they are introvert, right? So from there, let's move to the phlegmatics. They are feelers. They are called steady supporters. What are their strengths? They listen. They can be they listen very, very well. They have listening skills. They are very, very empathetic. They show empathy. Those are the kind of people that can be very good PAs. If you make me the PA to someone, it will be a disaster because I've not even organized myself like that. Do you understand? So, but some people who don't mind being PAs to other people, they don't mind being secretaries, they like being in the back end and they get things done. So a lot of time they don't get the accolades because people don't see what they are doing, but at the back end they are getting a lot of things sorted. Those are phlegmatics. Everybody needs a phlegmatic in their life to organize their life for them. All right? They are very, very understanding. They don't push too much. And what they can be very creative. What are their needs? They need people to be kind to them because of the kind of people they are. People can take them for granted. So you need to be kind to phlegmatics. You need to be sensitive to their needs because sometimes they will not even voice out what their needs are. So you need to pay attention to them and be sensitive to them. We also need to be genuine to them because they will take you at face value. All right? They will take you at face value. So you need to be genuine to them. You need to be authentic to them. What are their values? They value families and relationships. Those are the ones that will say, I have a bestie from primary school. And they will keep to that bestie for 20 years, 30 years, 100 years. All right? They love family, they love relationships. They have a tendency for spirituality. They are spirituals. All right, so I'm already thinking that person that wrote that I'm the light of the world is probably a phlegmatic. I'm just joking, really. All right, the little things of life, those things matter to them. They are not flamboyant. They are easily satisfied with the little things of life. So there's a downside to that. They are called onlookers in life in some of the books I've read. They can be very, very laid back if care is not taken. They will not push. All right? So that's a part of them that they need to watch out for. What gives them their family, doing things for others? Wow, they love to do things for others. They're always there for other people. When somebody's getting married in Ekiti State, they are there. Another one is getting married in Zamfara, they are there. All right? They also love to be understood. They want people to understand them because a lot of times they are not understood. Let's move on to the melancholy. I'm sure with this, now a lot of us are already seeing the kind of people that we are. I want to believe so. What are their strengths? Melancholy. These guys are thinkers. Most of the inventors in this world, they are melancholics because they are very creative people. They are thinkers. They love to analyze. Those are the people that will give you details and say on the 23rd of October, 1854 at 1:32 p.m., this thing happened. And as a result of this is what has happened. There are people that like figures. There are people that like to do statistics and plot graphs and predict trends for people, all right? Because they are good and great thinkers. What are their needs? They need process time. They are not people you want to rush because, like I said, they love to think. So they don't take decision immediately. They will tell you to come back in 2 days. Those are the people that if there are 10 signatures required for an item to be taken out of a store, if you have 9.5 signatures, they will say no. Until everything is well documented, they will not budge. All right? They love, what are they? They also want to respect their intelligence. They want you to respect their intelligence, right? They love autonomy too. Sometimes they just want to be withdrawn. They want to go somewhere and go think and solve problems and come back to you. They are the people that when they're thinking and you come to them and you disturb them, they get really, really angry. All right? What are their values? They love independence. Sometimes they can lock themselves up for days, for weeks. They just want to be to themselves. Those are people that tell you that I enjoy my own company. All right? They like facts and data. They love research. They love statistics, like I mentioned. They love facts and figures. If you tell them that as of last year, the mortality rate in Nigeria is 200%, they're asking you, where did you get those facts and figures from? They will probe. They are very intelligent, and they can be very sarcastic, dry jokes. All right, what do they like to do? They love to think, they love to analyze, they love to be sarcastic, they love having the answers. When you ask questions, they love to be the ones to provide the answers to you. Then the very, very last temperament we're looking at are the sanguines. We are the life of the party, right? The sanguines are the happening guys. They are free thinkers. They don't tighten the word to their chest. You know what I mean by that? They are not, they don't send. They are free thinkers. Okay, I think you have a mix of phlegmatic and melancholy. Awesome. You really, really, I think I was going to ask us to start talking about our temperament. So they are free thinkers. They can make anything fun, anything. People will ask me, is it everything that is funny to you? And so sometimes I just pretend that I'm serious about something, because sometimes you are telling me something that's very serious and I'm already see a way of making a joke out of it. Sometimes it's not very good. All right? So they have high energy and they are visionary. They have high energy. They are always part of one meeting or the other. If they are not careful, they will not have plans. Sometimes I run through my days without plan because I'm jumping from one meeting to another, but not anymore. That was probably some years ago. Because I knew I had that tendency, I've learned to plan my life and say no to some questions. I've learned to say no to some requests, because that's very, very important as a sanguine. All right. What are their needs? Number one, they love unstructured environment, and they don't like people saying this is how we do things, you have to stick to it, because they cannot function in that kind of environment. Like I told you, I studied accountancy. I would have made a mess of my life at practice accountancy, because my books will never balance. That's the truth. Because to me, accounting is too procedural. Everybody has to agree, arrive at a particular answer at the end of the session. I don't want to be that kind of person. I love creativity, where you give all of us a brief for an advertising campaign, and 10 of us come up with different solutions, different proposal, but you won't say one is wrong or one is right, because we are looking at it from different perspectives, and so you can learn from all of us, right? I don't want something that has to put me in a box and I have to everybody has to come up with one answer. That is not me. All right. So that is word of sanguine. They are what? They love freedom. I love to be free. I don't like to be tied down to something or someone or someplace. All right. And so if we are not careful, we will keep changing jobs as sanguines. If only I had known this part of me, when those tendencies, when I had the urge to change, I would say, no, this is playing out because of my temperament. I'm not going to use it, all right? And not because my work environment is bad or something. Okay, so we love freedom, we love fun. What again? Values. What are values? Freedom, activity, and adventure. If only I have 30 billion naira in my account right now, you know what I'll be doing? I'll be traveling from one place to another, catching fun. Even on a Monday morning, you just see me post on Instagram that I'm catching from somewhere in the Bahamas. If I have 30 billion naira in my account, that's what I'll be doing, because I love fun. But of course, I need to make money to finance that kind of lifestyle. All right? Adventures, fun everywhere. Abdurrahman, yeah, but we need to make money first, You're a mix of phlegmatic and choleric. So what are the joys of sanguines? Doing, creating, making things happen, having fun. They love to be the ones creating things. I remember when I was in school, everybody will come and ask me when it's time for election, what are we meant to vote for? I was part of SUG, I was part of a lot of things. I would leave class and I would be doing election, I would be doing a lot of things, be part of one electoral, but those things are fun. But sometimes you need to sit down and say, my life has to have a template. I can't keep running life like this, all right? So why are we delving into this? Why are we talking about temperament? Because a lot of people make the mistake when they do things that are not good. They will say, after all, this is my temperament. No, that is wrong. We are studying temperament so that not because we want to give excuses for our inadequacies. No. We're doing this so that we can know what our weaknesses and we can work on them. It is never an excuse. All right. So don't give an excuse and say, after all, I'm a choleric, I can get angry quickly. No, it is very wrong. You know your temperament, not because you want to keep it, but because you want to become a better person. So that you can benchmark your life and say, last year I used to flare up, but this year, look now, I'm a better person. Or last year, because I'm a phlegmatic, I used to be laid back, I used to fold my hand, but look now, I'm taking advantages of opportunities around me. Or you can say, last year I used to I used to live my day without planning for it because I'm a sanguine. I just love fun. But now look at me, I have a calendar for everything I do every day. All right. So those are things we should be talking about instead of saying, just take me the way I am. That's one of the very, very, very terrible things that we say. Just take me the way I am. No, you need to become a better person. And that's what we're learning about temperament. All right. So let's move on. It's 1 hour already. But I love to lay foundation, and that's what we're doing. And I think it's very important that we're doing this. Okay, so you need to list your major decision lessons from this module. Can somebody just quickly type in what you have learned from this module about knowing yourself? Just type in something that you have learned from this module. We just finished module 1, and I decided to spend a lot more time on it so that we can have a good background. But just quickly type in what one thing have you learned from this particular module before we move on to the other ones. What singular thing have you learned? All right. What one thing have you learned? I just need to be sure that we're learning. Okay, being self-aware, it's very, very important. You need to know yourself. Knowing your temperament helps you to work on your weaknesses. Yeah, that's the major takeaway. Not for you to keep giving excuses, all right? Being able to decipher your personality and work on whatever needs improvement. Knowing who I am, man, know thyself. Yeah, that's what Socrates said. Man, know thyself. Okay, awesome. I'm happy that we learned something from this. So be yourself. We said know yourself. Of course, be yourself. But being yourself does not mean you don't want to improve. Knowing who I am, I've learned how to deal with my temperament. Be yourself is very, very important. Be yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You are supposed to be unique. You're meant to be unique, but this does not mean you don't need to improve. So when you know your strength, you know your tendencies, you know where to keep working towards so that it becomes a lot easier for you to get things done. You know what we call the lowest hanging apple. If you get into a compound and you want to eat apple and you get into a compound, you see some apples at the very top and some are just hanging down there. Which one are you going to go for? Of course, the one that is hanging down there because those are the lowest hanging apples. So knowing yourself, you get to know the things that you are easily disposed to, and you can work towards becoming good at them. All right. Okay, you used to know I'm a Melson, but I cannot say I have a pinch of phlegmatic in me. All right, like I mentioned, we all have the 4 temperaments, but we have the dominant 2, and you have a dominant 1. All right. So be yourself, know yourself, work on your strength. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is a term used in psychology to reflect a person's overall evaluation or appraisal of his or her own self-worth. And it involves your beliefs, your emotion, and your behavior. How you feel about yourself determines your ability to either have a healthy or poor self-image. The root cause of major problems that people have, and I mean to say it, is self-esteem. If you see a guy that is a bully, he has a self-esteem problem. You can take this to the bank. Even though outwardly he's bullying someone and he's showing strength, but it's a major attribute of people that have low self-esteem. That's when they want to bully because they try to derive their esteem from how much they can bully the other person. Because they have a healthy self-esteem that is derived from their intrinsic value, they will not seek validation from terrorizing other people. All right. A lot of things that we don't aspire to become is because of our low self-esteem. I mean, when I got out of school, there were some jobs I would never apply for because in my mind, I was telling myself, am I the kind of person they are looking for? So a lot of us in some particular aspect of life, we have issue with our self-esteem and we need to work around it so that we don't allow it to limit us because self-esteem can limit us. All right. When you try to be someone else, you know what happens? You become unhappy and you live a miserable life. You have limitless comparison with others. Your celebration of success becomes difficult because you are looking at other people. So you find it hard to celebrate your little wins. When you win something little, when you get that small job and they are paying you 60K, you find it difficult to celebrate because some of your colleagues that you went to school together just got a job and is earning 300K. But you just got one for 60K after 4 stages of interview. Celebrate yourself and say, out of 10 people, I got this job. And of course, this does not define me. I'm going to get a better one. But while at it, I need to celebrate myself for getting this one. All right? Okay, so you need to ask yourself a lot of questions. Number one, how do I value myself? How do I perceive my value to the world? What do I think about? Do I think I matter? When they're having meetings, for instance, do I talk in meetings? Do I think my opinion can? Sometimes you know a lot of things to say at meetings, but because you have low self-esteem, I think, maybe I will say rubbish. You keep quiet. I'm not saying that every meeting you keep talking rubbish, right? Or you keep saying when you keep talking when you don't need to talk. But sometimes you know what to say, but you don't say it because you have low self-esteem. And when somebody else says that and they clap for them, you say, and that's what I want to say, but still inside of you. All right? So how do you perceive yourself? How valuable are you to others? You need to ask yourself these questions. And so your answers will determine your level of self-confidence because your confidence level comes from your self-esteem. The confident person, the person that has good self-esteem is very, very confident. They can face a lot of things. But of course, you need to draw a line between being confident and being arrogant. Because sometimes we cross from confidence to arrogance, and that should never be. All right? So when you have low self-esteem, you know what happens? You are socially withdrawn. When people are having meetings, you don't want to be there. Or when you get into an environment, you want to sit at the back. That is low self-esteem. Or sometimes you are constantly anxious. You're always thinking, will I get it right? Will I do it right? You're always conscious. You're always, especially when they ask to come and give a speech, you are not sure that you're going to say something that is worthwhile or that will make sense. Then you are pessimistic. You are not expecting the best. When they are doing an interview for a job in a bank, you don't expect to get the job because you just think, I'm not the kind of person you're looking for. That's an example, an expression of low self-esteem. You're always depressed. You're a poor communicator. You fear rejection because the truth is that in life, you face a lot of rejections. But when you are prepared for it, you know that rejection is not a closed door. It's just for me to look for another door, all right? You lack motivation, you are insecure. But when you have a healthy dose of self-esteem, you know what happens? You are confident, you have self-direction, you are optimistic, you trust other people, you care for yourself. Yeah, you care for yourself. That's very important. You are independent, you accept your mistakes, and you are aware of your strength. So when you are that person, when people tell you what you are not doing right, you become defensive all of the time. That's low self-esteem. You need to watch it. Because you have LD self-esteem, even when they tell you what you are doing wrong, you accept it, you say thank you to them, and you work on it. But when you have low self-esteem, you become defensive and you attack the person. What are the barriers to self-confidence and self-esteem? Number one, your background, where you grew up, your environment, your parents, your upbringing, your past experiences. Sometimes some people have an experience when they were 13, 14, 15, and they live with that experience till they are 60, 70, or even 100 years. For some person, it's a real experience. We've heard about this. For some other person, you have an armed robbery experience. Maybe an armed robber comes to your house, and because you saw the way they operated, God forbid, they killed somebody in your presence. That experience will haunt you for life. And when you want to get into an environment that looks like that environment where that thing happened, something snapped, and let's say, for instance, you were living in the village and you came to Lagos and you had that experience. After 20 years in life, when there's an opportunity in Lagos, because you have associated Lagos with distress, you have associated Lagos with death, with bad experience, you say, no, I don't want a job in Lagos. And that keeps ruling your mind. You understand what I mean? So there are some experiences in our past that keep taking us back because we have not learned to overcome them. Because instead of seeing them as just a one-off experience, we have associated them with a particular thing, and that hinders us. Your memories, your fear of failure, and a lot of other things. There are barriers to self-confidence and self-esteem. So for you to be able to gain back your self-confidence, things you need to do, you need to be thankful, you need to learn to be yourself, you need to accept yourself. Accept yourself. But that does not mean don't improve on yourself. Accept yourself first and say, yeah, I love me and I'm going to become the better me and I'm going to improve on myself. Value yourself and forgive yourself. When you make mistake, please forgive yourself. Bless yourself. You're a gift to yourself. You're a gift to the world. Express yourself. Don't let everybody make you inferior or that your voice does not count. Your voice counts. All right. Trust yourself, love yourself, empower yourself. Very, very key. Take charge. Take charge. All right. Take charge. So there's an activity, but I think we've touched on it. This is who I am. We talked about what we are. So we have also listed our these personality types. Some of us are sanguine, some of us are sand flag male. But what you need to do to take this a lot further is when you maybe after now list out those tendencies you have identified as a result of your temperament and tell yourself how you are going to overcome them. All right. If, for instance, you are a flag male, that means you are a double introvert. And what that means is that you might not be so confident. You might not want to try out new things. You might not be adventurous. So list out those things that limit you or that you have identified and tell yourself, write out an action plan on how you are going to overcome them. All right. So let's move on. You also need to list your major lessons from this module, what you will start doing differently as a result of lessons learned from this module. Can we quickly list what we need to start doing differently as a result of what we just learned now from this module about being yourself? Quickly now so that we can move forward. What are the things you will learn, you will do differently based on what you've learned from this module? Anyone? Let's do that quickly before we move on to the next module. Trusting myself to improve. Yes, trust yourself to improve. Accept myself, but also try to improve. Because a lot of times we just give up on ourselves and say, I can't be better. I will just take myself like that. And that's when we stop trying. No, value yourself more. That's very important too. Now we're moving to upping yourself. We said know yourself, be yourself. Now we need to help yourself. How do you do that? How do you move yourself? How do you help yourself? There are 4 tilts that we need to look at: your attitude, your latitude, your fortitude, and your magnitude. Okay, there are actually 5: your attitude, your latitude, your fortitude, your magnitude, and your altitude. We're not just playing on words here, right? Okay, somebody says I will develop myself, improve my skills, I'll be better at what I do. I will be more intentional about my goals. I will celebrate my wins. Awesome. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Celebrate your wins. It is very, very important. I love this very interactive class. All right, so let's start with our attitude. We say attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. The way you look at things determines what you make out of them. Somebody sees failure while another person sees opportunities. So attitude can mean the sum of how you are perceived by different people you come in contact with. All right? Somebody will say, bad attitude, I can't work with them. So at that point, what counts is not even what you know or what you don't know, but your attitude. So we need to value attitude even above skill. Skill is very important, but when you have good skill, but your attitude is bad, it will count against you. All right? So attitude is very, very important. It includes how you talk, how you live with other people, how you carry yourself. All right, so attitude can either be positive or negative. What is attitude? It's the established way of responding to people and situations that we have learned. Based on the beliefs and values that we hold, our beliefs and our values, they determine our attitude. That's very, very key. According to the 21st century dictionary, attitude means a way of thinking or behaving. And so that way of thinking or behaving reflects in how you interact with people, whether you like it or not. 10% of life is made up of what happens to you, while 90% of life is decided on by how you react. All right? You can be in a situation, let's say for instance, that 20 people are sacked from a place of work. I can assure you that those 20 people, they have gone through the same experience, but they will react in 20 different ways based on their beliefs, their values, and what they think about themselves. For somebody that sees the totality of their life in the door, they will be so devastated, they might commit suicide. But for somebody that sees like it's just a bend, it's not an end, they pick up the pieces of their life and they move on. All right? So you have no control about 10%, but you have control about the 90%, how you want to feel about what happens. So a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere until you change it. Imagine going on 3rd Mainland Bay around 11 p.m. and then your tire goes flat. You can't do anything. I mean, you have to correct, you have to fix the tire before you can move ahead, no matter what happens, all right? So a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You have to correct it. If you really want to move on in life, you have to correct bad attitude. All right, so what's your personal brand? What's your attitude? Let's just move on now. Attitude is everything. To build good attitude, number one, you need to view your actions in the same way people watching you will view them. Don't just say, you don't understand me. This is me, and I'm not going to change. No. Understand the fact that some other people are agreeing. So when people start complaining about you, know something is wrong, fix it. Don't make excuses for bad attitude. Don't celebrate bad attitude and say, this is what I've been known for. I'm not going to change. No. Don't flatter yourself. Be ready to lend a helping hand. Avoid reputation for dishonesty. Don't celebrate dishonesty. Know when to speak and when to keep quiet. All right? Number 2 is latitude. Latitude. Liberty, room, shape, opportunity. Those are synonyms. That's freedom from restriction on action or opinions. So what does it mean? We live in the age of unprecedented opportunity. If you've got ambition, drive, and smarts, you can rise to the top of your chosen profession regardless of where you started out, right? Opportunity comes with responsibility. It comes with what? You know, we're talking about latitude. The synonyms for latitude are what? Leeway, autonomy, liberty, room, scope, opportunity. So how well you take advantage of opportunities is a function of your latitude. All right, so always be ready to identify opportunities and don't delay in making good use of those opportunities. Because once an opportunity for you by today, tomorrow might not be an opportunity again because the time has elapsed, all right? So you need to identify your opportunities, and because you have latitude, you take advantage of them and you make the best out of them. It is not a small task to identify opportunities, but we need to be able to do that. So you need to ask yourself, do you have opportunities to improve at every particular time? When you find out that you have, then you latch on to that opportunity so that you can improve. All right, always keep asking yourself, how can I improve? Number 3 is fortitude. I'm sure we have asked, when people say, we have heard people say, we pray that God will give you the fortitude to bear this particular thing. Fortitude is like an inner strength, courage in adversity, patience, endurance, firmness, grit, strength, resilience, God, staying power. You need all of these because nobody promises you that things are always going to be good, all right? Things will get rough at some point, but when you have fortitude and strength, tenacity, you will weather the storm and become a better person. That is fortitude, all right? All right, so magnitude. When you talk of magnitude, you are talking of size. I mean, that's literally now. The extent to which you can bear something, your level, weight, moment, consequence, those are synonyms for magnitude, all right? So magnitude explores how significant and important you are in your team, unit, and organization as a whole. As a person, how important are you? When you are not at work for one day, do people miss you at work for 1 week? Do they even say, why are we even keeping you at work? All right? So that's your magnitude. If you are to leave your organization today, what will you be missed for? You need to ask yourself, will you be important in that place? Or they will say, we don't even miss him. That's magnitude. All right, so how can you be significant in your place of work? Earn more money, bring more money to the table. If you are that salesperson in your organization, that out of the 20 million turnover for the month, you are bringing in 10 million. Of course, you have magnitude. People will celebrate you. They don't want you to leave. When you get another job offer somewhere, they will say, no, stay. We'll double your pay. All right? That's because you are relevant. Reduce costs. Make customers satisfied. Have positive influence on other people in the organization. All right? It is very, very important. Then the last one is altitude. That's being thankful. All right? Sorry, I said being thankful. Altitude is elevation, loftiness, highness. You know, when you say altitude, that's the height of something. So how high do you want to go in the organization? You know, the question people ask you when you are interviewing for a role, they say, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? That's altitude. How high you want to rise on the job, your career, even if it's self-employment, how high do you want to rise? That's altitude. All right, so where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? That's the practical one. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Quick rest. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I want you to see yourself in the next phase. Are you here? I'm not getting responses. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh, audio is bad. I'm so sorry about that. It's raining here, so that's why audio is bad. Let's hope it gets better. I'm so sorry about that, but it's not 100% in my control. So let me know when it gets better. Let me know when it gets better, please. Is audio better now? It's okay now, right? Is the audio better now? I'm trying to move around. Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. This is one of the problems with Nigeria. Our broadband is still not broadband like it should be. All right, so I see a lot of good stuff that people are writing, and I believe it is possible. It is very, very possible. As a controller in my profession, I see myself as human resources manager in a top company in Nigeria. Awesome. I see myself as a top-notch expert in my career. But apart from just typing all of this, you also need to ask yourself, what am I doing towards achieving it? And we're going to go into the area of goal setting. It's part of what we're going to talk about in this session. Goal setting is very, very important. All right, so let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Goal setting. If we don't learn anything today, we need to look at goal setting, because it's very, very easy for us to talk about things we want to become, what we want to achieve. But when we don't set goals, it's like playing a football match. This is the example I use every time I teach goal setting. When you have a team of 11 players on one side, 11 on the other side, and they are just running around the pitch for 90 minutes, they are just running, sweating, running, dribbling, attacking, defending, and after 90 minutes, no goals. And the referee gives them another 30 minutes as extra time. And they also play penalty. And at the end of the day, it's still 0-0. And I'm sure somebody will be worried. And you're asking yourself what is happening. And then suddenly you look at the pitch. You find out that at both sides, there are no goalposts. So how do you measure what they are doing? So when there are no goalposts, there will be no goals. All right? So when you live life and you're not setting goals yourself, it's like playing on a football pitch without goalposts, because there will be nothing to measure your life with. All right? Just like those players are just sweating it out, but there's nothing to measure their activities with. That's what happens when we are living through life and you're not setting goals for your life. And when I talk about goals, I'm not talking about your New Year resolution that you come back the next year and you're not doing anything about it, and you find out that you're out of 20 resolution, you have only achieved one because you didn't pay attention to it. No, our goals have to be smart. All right, so let's move on. Let me know when audio is bad so that I can always adjust. Goal setting is the process of deciding what you want to accomplish and devising a plan to achieve the result you desire. It's the process of identifying something that you want to accomplish and establishing measurable goals and time frames. Until you have time frames and they are measurable, you are not setting goals yet. It's not goal setting yet. It's just wishful thinking. All right. Far from the achieved goals, what you do and the person you become is in order to achieve your goal at the real benefits. Let me say that again. Much more than what you are achieving, the person you become after setting the goal and achieving them is more important. Even when you don't achieve those goals, you'll have been able to stretch yourself and you will not go back to who you are. All right? Because as a result of that goal, you become more disciplined, you have a better routine. So what you become as a result of the goal is more important than even the goal that you are achieving yourself. Okay? Goal setting is powerful. So how do you set your power? How do you set powerful career goals? Number one, you need to evaluate yourself. Where am I right now? Am I on my first job? Am I a graduate trainee? Am I still an applicant? Am I a mid-level person? So you need to evaluate, because what you don't evaluate, what you don't measure, you don't even know how to set goals. Evaluate and reflect on yourself. What stage am I in my career right now? Number two, what are my dreams and goals? What do I look forward to? What do I want to become? We talked about that. Then you need to set smart goals. And then you need to become accountable first to yourself and then to other people. You need to have accountability partner, people that can hold you to your word and say, you say you're going to become this. All right? What are the hindrances to setting and achieving smart goals? Number one, laziness. I mean, somebody say we have lazy Nigerian youth. I agree. There are lazy people and there are there are hardworking people. I want to believe everybody in this class is hardworking. Number two, procrastination. I mean, all of us suffer from this. Let me not say all of us. A lot of us suffer from this. This is a big deal for me, and I'm learning to overcome it. Procrastination is a big problem. Where you think you have all the time in the whole world, and then the last minute you start rushing. And what happens is that you're not able to give your best to something when you do it in the last minute, because you just want to do it for the show, not because you have really, really thought it through. Number three is distraction. When you are distracted, it's a big problem. Number four is past failure. Sometimes the failure of the past, they stop us from setting new goals. And so I tell people, when you are setting goals, set the ones that are easy for you to achieve, to start with. So that when you achieve it, you feel so good about yourself, and it spurs you on to set bigger ones. But when you start with goals that are so big and you don't achieve them, just tell yourself, man, I may never achieve anything. Then lack of resources. That's why you need to sit down and count the cost before you set out your goals. Do I have the resources? Does the organization have the ability to provide the resources for me? If they don't have, then I scale down the goals. I scale down what I'm planning to do. All right. Setting too many goals is also a problem sometimes. Low drive, that is peculiar to people like people that fall into the category of phlegmatics, and then even sometimes sanguines. We just love fun. We don't have that drive like the choleric guy would do. Limiting beliefs. Then not situating your goals within the environmental context. For instance, if I'm setting a goal that will require that I have 24 hours electricity, and I'm setting it in Nigeria, that might be a big problem if I don't make alternative plans, because within the environment we have in Nigeria, there's nothing like 24 hours electricity. So you need to look at the environment and situate your goal within the context of that environment. So that's what makes it achievable. All right. So it needs to be positive. You need to be positive. So I want us to say this to ourselves now, wherever you are. But don't use your mic so that it doesn't become rancorous. But wherever you are, I pledge to be a positive person and positive influence on my family, friends, co-workers, and community. I promise to be positively contagious and share more smiles, laughter, encouragement, and joy with those around me. I vow to stay positive in the face of negativity. When I'm surrounded by pessimism, I will choose optimism. When I feel fear, I will choose faith. Some of us don't know why we're doing this. When you confess something, when you say it, you're on your way to achieving it, because you are saying to your subconscious mind and it picks it. All right. So I encourage us to keep saying this to ourselves. All right. Okay. It seems that I moved too fast. I thought I had so little time, but I would, at this point, try to dwell a little more on goal setting. Then when it's like 20 minutes to time, I can give us a lot time. I mean, long time, so that we can ask questions and clarify a lot of things. Is that okay? Is that okay? So you can already start leaving your question in the chat box now, so that I can start reading them. So talking about goal setting now. We say you need to set SMART goal. How many of us know what it means to set SMART goal? Do you know the meaning of SMART? Who knows what the acronym SMART stands for? What is SMART? What is SMART? Okay, S is specific, correct, measurable, achievable. Okay, what is R? So what is R? Yeah, some people will say R is realistic, and some will say it's relevant. So which one do we stay with? Timely or time bound? Okay, so let's break it down. When is specific? Specific means that I'm saying that I want to lose weight. If my goal is that I want to lose weight, that is not specific. That is not what specific, because I'm not situating it within a particular time frame. But if I say I want to lose 24 kg in the next 3 months, that is specific, right? Is it not specific? It is, because I've told you how much weight I want to lose. But when I say I want to lose weight, that is just so not specific. And that's what we do a lot of time. I want to be a great man. I want to have a great career. Tell me what a great career is. How do you measure it? So when your goal is specific, it means that you are putting figures to it. So when you say I want to, like I said, if I say I want to lose 24 kg within the next 6 months, that makes it specific, all right? So measuring, how do we measure it? Since I've already assigned a fee January, and by the end of July, by the end of July, you're now weighing 108 kg. So have you met your goal? Instead of actually reducing your weight, you have actually added weight. So because we could measure it, we know that, Oga, you have not achieved anything, all right? So is what is measurable. But if after 6 months from 90 kg, I drop down to 70 kg, that is measurable. And one other way we can be sure something is measurable is that we can have timelines assigned to it. If I say I want to lose 24 kg in 6 months, so after the first month, I can check. If I've lost 4 kg after the first month, I can say, yeah, I'm on my way. Because if I keep losing 4 kg every month, then in 6 months, I will have lost 4 times. That's 24, right? That's measurable. But if after the first month, I've only lost 2 kg, I'll say, I'm losing weight, but if I keep losing at this rate, I will not achieve what I need to achieve. So I need to double up, probably on my diet, probably on some other things I'm doing. Do we understand? Because it is measurable and we can break it down and assign timelines to it. So one of the ways you can make your goals measurable is you don't just wait till the end of the time you set to come measure, because at that point, you will not be able to make correct adjustments. But when you do it gradually and you say, I want to keep measuring every month or every week, it becomes better. That's why in a standard business plan, they will ask you to do a 5-year projection. We want to measure the growth of the company for 5 years. They don't say, okay, just give me a projection, what you want to become in 5 years. No, tell me what you're going to become at the end of the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year. And even at that level too, even at the level of the 1 year, every organization that is standard, they do what we call MPR. That's a monthly performance review. So that at the end of every month, you are measuring what you are achieving towards the goal you have set for the year. So you can now see how we can break it down. You have a 5-year plan. You break it down into each year. You have a 1-year plan. Then you have a monthly performance meeting where you measure your achievement for each month. But before monthly performance review, every week you're also required to send in your report to your team lead. So you have a weekly report, you have a monthly report, you have a a yearly report, and then all of this dovetail into your 5-year plan. Do you understand? But of course, what you report every week did not happen at the end of the week only. Is a sum total of everything that is happening from the very first day, right? So we break it down into daily, weekly, monthly, annually, and then of course you have your 5-year plan. All right. So that's how to do it. So that's specific, measurable, now achievable. What do we mean when we say something is achievable? Sometimes we tend to deceive ourselves because we want to impress people. So a lot of time we don't achieve our, what's it called now, your New Year resolution, because you are setting goals that are not real, that are not achievable. Let's say, for instance, your sales figure is let's say your sales revenue is 200,000 per month. All right, tell you to do better, and you say, okay, let me set a goal, and you say from 200,000, you're saying my goal is to achieve 200 million every month from 200,000. Is that achievable? That's you trying to deceive yourself. And you know what happens after the first one? You find out that it's not possible, and then you become a laughing stock to yourself. All right, because you need to look at something that is within your power. But this does not mean that you need to set goals or you don't need to be ambitious, but set things that you know are actually within the framework of the resources available to you, your skills, your tendencies, your opportunities, and the market environment, and the prevailing environment you can actually achieve. So don't set goals because you just want to do wishful thinking. Set goals that you know that you can achieve. You know what happens when you set a goal and you achieve it, you are pumped up to set another goal. But when you keep setting goals that you can achieve, it becomes a big problem to you, and you will not take yourself serious. And even at the end of the day, it will even water down your self-esteem. But when it's a small goal and you achieve it, man, you just want to set a higher one. You're saying, let's keep doing it. Oh yeah, bring me the next challenge, bring me the next one, bring me the next one, bring me the next one. You're not demoralized. So set goals that are achievable. And sometimes you are not the one who is setting the goal. When somebody is setting a goal for you that is not achievable, tell them within the context of what is available, what is possible, and the trends. I think we need to scale this down so that I don't disappoint you at the end of the day, and so that we can all manage expectations. All right. So let it stay within the concept of being achievable. It is very, very important. Okay. So realistic. Realistic is also very, very close to being achievable. All right. Let it be a real goal. Let it be something that is possible. If I say, for instance, that by 20, okay, this is 2021, right? This 2020, sorry, I'm moving too fast. Let's say election is in October this year, and I'm saying by 2021, I want to become the president of Nigeria. It might not be realistic because, number one, I've not even joined, have clouds. I've not even done anything at my ward level, local government level. So when people just try to mess around with themselves and say, I want to become the president of Nigeria, and they have not done their homework, they have not done, so it's not realistic, all right? So I'm just using that example, and I'm sure we all know some of the goals that we have set for ourselves, and we are setting them just for the optics, just for people to say we have goals. So let it be realistic so that you can be sure you achieve it. So let's not assume that our R is not realistic, but it's relevant. What it means is that your goal that you're setting has to be relevant to what you are trying to achieve. If, for instance, my goal, what I'm trying to become is the Accountant General of Nigeria, and I'm setting a goal to become a medical, to become, let me break it down now. Let's say my overall goal later in life is to become the chief medical director for a hospital. But somewhere along the line, I'm setting a goal to also become certified. I want to become a chartered accountant, something along. It's not relevant, all right? So everything has to be in sync. Because I see a lot of people, they said, I have a particular career. I have a particular mentee. He wants to write every professional exam. You said you want to be an OAP, on her personality. That's what you want to do. but you see an exam for CIPM, you say you want to write it. You see an exam for advertisers, you want to write it. You see a certification for people for project man, you want to write it. Those ones are not relevant to where you want to be. You just want activities. There are people that just want activities. That is not good. Let it be relevant to where you're trying to, so that you can put all your energy in a particular box. Do you understand? I'm not saying we should not be multidimensional. I am also multidimensional. I do a lot of things. I mean, I have a marketing communication firm that I run. I have an online media platform. I do training. I do consulting. I do a couple of things. But I have a core, all right? When people call my name, there is something that comes up to them. But let's not be scattered here and there, achieving in getting certifications that are not relevant to what you want to become, or just getting involved in every activity. Some of us just want to be present everywhere. It is not good, because you will spread yourself thin. You are not able to prioritize well, and then you'll be half-hearted because you are just dissipating energy in different directions, and people will not take you serious. And of course, wherever you are, you'll not be totally committed to what they are doing. They will not like it. But if you are in 1, 2, 3 places and you are giving your all to it because it's an area that is relevant to you, it will be very, very good. I mean, sometimes in my life, I had to just get out of so many groups, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups that are not aligned with what I want to become and the goals that I'm setting for my life. I just got out of those places. And a lot of people were saying, why are you doing? I said, no, I want to be focused. So a lot of us need to be focused. You need to get out of some WhatsApp groups, some Facebook groups, from some activities that are not going to help you. All right? Then time bound. What you don't assign a time to, you are not serious about it. Like I gave the example of, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 24 kg in 6 months. If I say I want to lose 24 kg, that can be in 20 years. All right? It can be in 25 years. It can be in 30 years. But when I say 6 months, it is time bound. So I can measure the achievement of that goal along with the time. So I can assign timelines to the different, I can say, like I already mentioned, if I want to lose 24, I can take 4 kg every month, or 6 kg in the first month. Then I now start doing 4, 4, 4, 3. You understand? So it's very, very important that all these elements of SMART are present in our goal setting so that we don't make a mockery of ourselves. Before I open this up to question and answer, and I'm expecting a lot of them, except I've been talking to myself. Let's talk about personal development plan. I thought it's part of this, but basically, I will also have to send that template to us after now. I will have to send that template for your career plan to you. But basically, what your career plan should contain is this: number one, what sector do I want to play in? What sector do I want to play in? Those are the elements that should be in your career plan. I will just be typing them now. What sector? I will send the template to us after now. I'll send to Ajibade, and it will send to you. What sector do I want to play in? It is very, very important. I know as people that are looking for a job, especially if this is your first job, you would say any job. What sector do I want to play in? I mean, somebody sent a CV to me some days ago. She was my colleague at a point, and she said she wants to go back to paid employment. And I said, okay, great, Bola is good. I understand. I've also had to leave my own business at some point to go back to paid employment. So it's not like somebody is doing anything bad. Okay. So I said, what do you want to do? And she said, any sector, anywhere. And I said, madam, you are not serious. So don't let us be too desperate to say any sector. But I understand that you may want to practice a particular skill, and that particular skill will cut across many sectors. For instance, as an accountant, you can work in a bank, you can work in a manufacturing company, all right? You can work in a hospital, you can work anywhere. Do you understand? So that's very, very important. So following that is, what profession do I want to practice? Apart from the sector, now what profession do I want to practice? So if they ask me, what is my profession? What do I want people to say? Like my children will come home and say, they say, what does your daddy do? I say, what did you tell them? All right. So what profession do I want to practice? So we're going beyond sector now. You might not have total control over the sector where you want to practice, especially in a climb like us, like ours, where the jobs are limited. So I quite understand. I'm trying to be realistic now. I'm not trying to build castle in the air. Sometimes you might not get a job in the sector where you really want to, but try and pay attention to what goals you have set for yourself. Okay, so what profession do I want to practice? All right, what do I want to be known for? Then after that, so that it's not just wishful thinking, what skills do I have right now? What skills do I have right now? So I need to just look at as a now, what skills do I have? How well are those skills aligned to the profession, right? How well are those skills aligned to the profession? Because for instance, if I'm very good with Excel and I want to be a medical doctor, yeah, that might be relevant, but is it totally relevant to me, like the person that wants to be an accountant? All right. So I need to assess my skills. Then after looking at that, what skills are required? What skills are required for that profession is very key for that profession or field. So that, you know why we're doing this? So that if I have it, it might still be in a very raw stage. I will have to own the skill. I will have to work on it so that it's not just raw, it is refined and market ready. What skills are required then? If I don't have the skills, I will go learn it. For instance, if I want to practice in a numeric profession, I will, of course, during this break where nobody is going to work, this Corona break, I will probably go and learn how to use Excel very well, so that by the time I arrive in the workplace, I'm a very good person with Excel or with PowerPoint, because I already know that this particular skill is required for my profession. All right? All right? So another one, apart from skill now, certification, because even if you have the skills, people want to see certification, especially in a country like Nigeria. What certifications are required? I need to ask myself, what certifications are required for me to be recognized in this field? Like I tell people, no matter how good you are as an accountant, if you don't have ICANN or ACCA in Nigeria, you are still second class. That is the truth. I wish it's not like that, but in Nigeria, I have a friend, and she graduated from a private university, read accountancy, and by writing ICANN and ACCA, she was writing MBA. After MBA, she did MSc. And I say, Madam, good you are doing this, but in Nigeria as of today, the person that has ACA and ACCA will have an edge over somebody that has MBA and MSc when it comes to a particular profession. And that is the truth. So ask yourself, what are the certifications that are well honored in my profession? So go for those things instead of just trying to say, let me go and get MSc. For some profession, MSc is well recognized, is well respected. For some place, is that professional certification that they would respect. So look at those things. All right, so the next thing you need to do, we're trying to arrive at an end goal, all right? We're not just talking about profession, we're saying, this is what I want to become. For somebody that wants to be the head of HR in 5 years, you need to ask yourself, what are the stages? What are the stages on my way to becoming that person I want to become? Or what are the stages on my way to achieving the career plan? Because like I said, we need to break it down so that it's not all say. Like for instance, I had my IT, what's it called now? Industrial attachment in a bank called Equity Bank. That was in 2000. That's some 20 years ago. And I had like a friend who is more or less a mentor now. And he said he had already calculated how long it was going to take him to become the branch manager. Because at that time, from executive training, you move to what we call AB, as assistant banking executive. From there, you become a banking executive. From there, you become from assistant banking executive, you become a deputy. I think you become an assistant. From assistant, you become deputy banking executive. You become a banking executive, banking officer. You become a senior banking officer, and so they just listed all of those things, right? So he said he already knew that promotion will usually come every 2 years. So give and take, after 10 years or 12 years, he was going to become a bank manager. And can I tell you, within 10 years, he became one. Because 2 years faster than he already planned, because he knew what are the stages involved. So you know what he was doing? When he gets on a particular level that will require him to spend 2 years, and he knows that he has done well on that particular level, and another bank is calling him, he will just say, okay, I'm on a particular level, but if you want me to come, I still have 6 months to get promoted, but you're going to take me to that next level, your own organization, and they will agree. So because of that, he was fast-tracking his career because he had a plan, right? He knows how long it was going to take him, and then he started planning towards it. And that's how it should be for all of us. But if you say you want to become the head of HR in a conglomerate and you don't know how long it's going to take you to do it, you don't even know what are the stages of becoming an HR manager. Maybe you have to become an HR assistant, you are an HR, what's it called now? HR generalist, you become a specialist, you become an HR manager, assistant manager. So you need to factor all of those things in, all right? So when you look at all of these factors, what sector do I want to play? What profession do I want to practice? What skills do I have right now? How well are my skills aligned to the profession? What skills are required to achieve what I want to achieve? What are the certifications required, especially considering where you are playing, all right? There are some skills that are relevant in Nigeria, for instance. I have friends that have moved on to Canada. And when they get to Canada or anywhere, it's like starting all over again because some of the certifications here are not recognized in those places. So when you plan, for instance, to go to another country, you're ready to start planning for what certification or certificates are understood or are well respected over there so that you factor all of that into your career plan and you can have a good and effective career plan to work with. So I would love to stop here now. I will send that template to us so that we can work with it because I know it's going to be useful for us throughout the course of this graduate empowerment program that we're doing. Well, I would love to stop now so that I can entertain questions for the next 9 minutes so that we can call it a day. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to me. I hope I've been able to provide 1 or 2 insights, and I hope somebody is better than they were when they started this session. Thank you very much. All right.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Lurotimi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lurotimi. Thank you. We really
You're
enjoyed the
welcome.
class and hope the participants were able to get some of the highlights from the presentation from Mr. Lurotimi. So, Mr. Lurotimi, is there a possibility whereby they can link up with you on LinkedIn possibly, whether they can ask you some personal questions that you can help them with?
Definitely.
Okay,
Just
maybe
search for
you can.
Chef me on LinkedIn,
Okay,
Facebook, Instagram. I will leave it in the box now. And I would really, really welcome interactions. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And what again? Instagram and Twitter. The same name all over. Just search for Sheye Olurotimi. And then you can also get me on WhatsApp or via phone call. So I'm typing in my phone number. Even if you try to reach me and I'm not able to pick the call or respond immediately, just send me an SMS or drop a message from me on WhatsApp. You can be sure I will be able to respond to it. So those are my contacts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Olurotimi. In fact, your class was very engaging, and I like the fact that you were able to engage them in some of the activities they were supposed to do. So you have access to these training slides for Mr. Olurotimi's class. You have access. We'll give out a link whereby you can access some of these slides. So thank you very much, Mr. Olurotimi.
Thank you so very much for having me.
So, Mr. Olurotimi, if you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to stay with us till the end of the session, we can stay. So we won't want to waste your time. So, dear participants, we've come to the end of today's session. In the comments, in the chat session, I sent you some links. The link for the feedback for this particular session. You are supposed to go back to this link every time we are done with the session, whatever session you are having, be it any class, and fill in for the session. So then also, we'll be continuing this training session tomorrow with the job hunting strategy, which will start by, the training session will start by 10, but we are supposed to be here by 9:30, like we did today. So that our rules still remain the same, that at every point in time, your video should be on. When you are on and you are not being when you are not speaking, your speaker should be on mute. You should come in at the appropriate time. You should be punctual. And note that these things are being assessed and you are being scored based on this, and these are also have consequences. So these are the rules that guide this. And also, I was supposed to send you a link that it's a pre-assessment link for you to state your expectation for each course, but we'll start that tomorrow. I'll send you the link tomorrow so you can have the pre-assessment link and all. I will send you all the relevant things you are supposed to fill. If you are here to fill your training policy, you won't be allowed for the sessions tomorrow, and you'll be removed from the group. Please kindly make sure of that. And for those people that accessed this session via YouTube, you are supposed to fill a form that showed that you actually followed the training session via this. This does not apply to the people that followed on the Zoom session. So these are some of. So please kindly prepare by group for your book review tomorrow. The book review for tomorrow will be different. We'll be doing it based on your different groups. All the other forms that I sent a form to the group, an information form that talks about how you want your data to be collected, because I understand that some of you, the lines that you gave us during your registration is not the one you are using for internet. So we said you should give us that. You should give us the line that you want your internet to be recharged on. Then also, we want, in the form that was sent to you, the information form that was sent to the group, I will send it again. We want to capture the email you used in registering for Zoom. Because I'm registering for Zoom might be different from the one you used when you were registering for GAP. And this will give us problem when pre-assigning you to the different groups. that we're having during these sessions and the breakout session. Also remember to create a WhatsApp group and choose a leader for yourself in different WhatsApp group that you'll be creating according to your group. So you can actually talk about the book review before tomorrow. We don't want anything not rehearsed or not talked about. So we want you to actually be prepared tomorrow. You are supposed to assign a leader in each group and have an assistant in each group that will coordinate the affairs of that group. So if you have a male leader, the assistant should be female. If you have a female leader, the assistant should be male. So for gender balance, so we actually need that to be done. And I would like to have at the end of, before the beginning of class tomorrow, I want to know the representative of each group. So for group one, I want to know the leader and the assistant. For group two, I want to know the leader and the assistant. So you can send it to the WhatsApp group. So we have that. So thank you for today. Hope you enjoyed. Do you have any feedback for us on today's session? Aside from the feedback, you guys can unmute and speak now. Any feedback? You can unmute and speak now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay,
good afternoon, everyone. This is Grace James.
Okay.
It was really thought-provoking. I've never really had an intensive session like this in my entire life. And seriously, I'm actually learning and unlearning a lot of things. And I just want to say thank you again to Casey and our sponsors. I hope to even learn more in the course of this training. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So any other person? Any feedback, be it good or bad?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I have a question.
Okay.
Hello? Okay. Yes,
can hear you perfectly.
about the book review, is it just the team lead? Is it just the team lead and the assistant that is going to do the book review, or everybody will have something to say?
Everybody will have to do the book review. Everybody in the group is involved, and everybody will present their book review. What we have the team leaders and the assistant to do is to coordinate that in the group that you have, tell you guys what to do, how to go about it, and things like that. So they are just coordinating it. Everybody is involved.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon.
When I'm done, I'll show you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Who is that?
Yeah, Ifedayo Adebanjo, sir.
Okay, Fedayo, can we have you, please?
Okay, so I have a question, sir. The question is this: as regard the book review, are we taking it chapter by chapter or the whole book at once, sir?
We'll be taking it chapter by chapter.
Okay, and sorry, if you're taking it chapter by chapter, sir, will it be that each group member will present the same chapter or different chapters?
Possible that each group member will present the same chapter.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Mr. Jibadi.
You are family because.
Okay. Hello, Gabriel.
Yeah, I apologize. I had quite problem. So, to be honest, it's been an awesome moment here. And I feel it's the same for every other persons on the group right now. I'm really grateful to even me the privilege to partake. Although there are some things I actually have known before, but on a very honest ground, I mean, my foundation has been refounded on a lot of this, and there is no limit to actually growing. I mean, to growth, and this is really
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah, Gabriel, it seems your network is going off and on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I think it's perfect now.
All right. I was just giving a vote of thanks to the whole team at KEC for organizing the Gap Network program. It's been an awesome one for me so far, and I just got more enthusiastic about what I can achieve and derive from the program. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I think Oluwafemi wanted to speak the other time.
Thank you very much. What did you say, sir?
I think Oluwafemi Odukoya wanted to say something the other time.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, Collins, Richard.
Yes, sir. All I just want to say is thank you to KEC for this great initiative, for making it possible for me to be a participant of this great initiative. Although I actually once was in something they call Ready Set Work, which was sponsored by the ex-Lagos State governor, that was Ambode Akinwumi, but we are not certified due to something that happened. He was unable to come back. But this actually is an advanced one, so it exposes him more to about this personal career plan and development. I want to say thank you to KEC and God bless you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not getting any bad or improvement review from you guys. Do you mean everything is all good?
Hello.
Yes, sir. For me, it's okay to me.
Okay. Abila, can we have you?
Yes. Good afternoon. Actually, seriously, I'm highly inspired and motivated by this very course. I'm here to tell you guys that I have really learned a lot, and I'm very grateful to KEC for this very opportunity given to me. But sir, and we type our question on the chat box, but no response. So next time, please, they should consider our questions too, because we are not attended. I believe like we have 2 or 3 guys that type questions and the speaker did not attend to. So next time, please, sir, you should have a way of getting the questions ready for the speaker to answer. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other person?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you?
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. For the recommendation, we also want to get feedback on how we can even do better. This is our first time to embark on an online virtual program for our Gap Network. So there are a lot of things that we are still learning. Everybody is learning, probably because of the COVID-19, what COVID-19 has put all of us into, which is somehow a blessing. But let me say this.
Mr. Gogo, we can't hear you. The line is crumbling. We can't hear you.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
It's still scrambling.
It's scrambling. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
It's getting better, but it's not all that clear.
Okay. I guess I'm just using your tool.
Okay, hello. Please, I would like to emphasize that the last course that you had for today, it's one of the very important courses. So please, the document, you'll be sent the documents. You'll be sent the documents for the personal career and development plan. Now, this document will form part of what you will take to your career counselor. And so please take that seriously. We'll send you the soft copy, and you are expected to use that as a document that you use throughout your career workshop session. Let me also point out that tomorrow we are doing the chapter 2 of the As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So please, I want you guys to just prepare your mind for that chapter 2. Please make it as interactive as possible, but let one person be able to coordinate the whole. That's why we are having leaders, so that it will not be kind of disorganized. I want to appreciate each and every one of you for really staying up till now. I noticed that there's consistency in most people, majority of you, about 95% of you that started really ended the session. Thank you so much. I just wish that we could continue like this, and we are going to really achieve something tangible at the end of the day. So thank you. We don't want to delay you because, okay. So finally, our project assistant will say something and we'll just round up. Just 1 or 2 minutes and we are off. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Augustine. So I noticed that the previous session we had, we did not make a comment on our social media pages. And if you notice in the comment section, I said that we should all go there and click on the link, go to our social media page, Instagram, and Twitter, to make comments about the previous session. And if this one just ended, please kindly go to social media platform. We have like something people here, and want to see that each post has at least something like, because we believe that we have more engagement with people and stuff like that. So please kindly go to our social media pages, make comments about how the session was and things like that. Please, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. We've come to the end of today's session. See you tomorrow, 9:30. So see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and goodbye for now.